Hi, so my name is Taita, and I'm a co-founder of Illuminum. I want you to clear your mind. And for a moment, think of a young African man, 35 years old, married, with only 5 children. Now his name is Kiko. Kiko farms maize and beans. Number one, to provide food for his family, which is the basic need for humanity. And secondly, to earn a surplus or earn an income to provide education and healthcare. But Kiko faces one problem alone. He depends on rain to provide water so that he can irrigate his crops. Now, what if the rain doesn't fall? Or if it does fall, it's inadequate. In the time of constant climate change, unpredictable weather pattern is a reality that we face in sub-Saharan Africa. The result is this: poor crop growth, forcing governments to use billions in importing food aid to sustain Kiko's life. Kiko cannot even earn an income to be able to afford healthcare for his children. Now imagine that scenario not only affecting Kiko, but affecting 6.5 million smallholder farmers just in Kenya. I haven't talked about Tanzania, Uganda, Zambia, Nigeria. The over-reliance on rain-fed agriculture is a huge problem affecting the agricultural sector in sub-Saharan Africa. So what exactly is the solution for this? Illuminum greenhouses is providing Kiko with automated drip irrigation kits. The number one allows Kiko to farm all year round. So Kiko doesn't care if it rains on January or February or March. He's in business. Number two, this allows Kiko not only to farm maize and beans, but allows Kiko to farm high-value crops such as tomatoes, and therefore gives him the option of diversity. We looked at this problem and went a step further and asked ourselves, we have provided Kiko with the drip irrigation kit, but he complains of having to wake up every morning to open irrigation and having to stand there for 30 minutes to wait for irrigation to finish and then close his irrigation and then go back to his cows. And he has to remember to come back at 6 p.m. to come and irrigate. This was redundant. What's this? Automated farm irrigation system. We put in a SIM card in the system that allows Kiko to remotely irrigate his farm just from using his mobile phone. Kiko can be grazing his cows, Kiko can be selling his produce, but the simple text message can be able to initiate irrigation. With a simple text message, can be able to check what is exactly happening in his farm. The question becomes, why then do we need solar panel? Electricity in sub-Saharan Africa is a huge problem, and we understood this as we built our business. And that's why we knew that for it to be sustainable, for it to be green, it had to go solar. Someone is thinking, but why SMS? Internet penetration in Africa is less than 25% and is majorly concentrated in urban areas. So we had to think of something else. We had to think of something that Kiko would use in rural Africa. And that is GSM. And that is why it went SMS. So how exactly do we make money? How do we ensure that our solution becomes sustainable? Illuminum Greenhouses has 2 products. Number one is drip irrigation kits. Our minimum viable product is drip irrigation kits, targeted at our fast market segment. 6.5 million smallholder farmers. What are their characteristics? These farmers earn $1,000 to $2,000 a year. And therefore, we provide a drip irrigation kit costing $150 for them. Our margin on this is $50. But we have a second growing middle income market segment that earn averagely $70,000 to $100,000 per year. And we provide greenhouses for this market. The lowest affordable greenhouse we have costs $1,500, and our margin on that is $500. So basically, we make money by selling drip irrigation and greenhouses. So how well have we done over the years? 2015 was our first financial year, and we closed at a turnover of 74,000 USD. We had never done business before, but this was the result. 2016 is looking really upward for us because we have just closed at a turnover of around 150,000 for the first financial year, half year, and we look at closing at around 300,000. 70% of this revenue is powered by greenhouses. The other 20 is powered by drip irrigation, and the other 10 is powered by greenhouse consultancy. Even with all this progress that we are making, we understand that to be able to cross borders and grow this business, we need partners on board. And that's why this partnership is what we ask today. We ask for partnership to grow our business across sub-Saharan Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Illuminum Greenhouses. My name is Taita Ngetich. Thank you. I would like to take your questions, if you would have any. Yes?
When did you start operating?
We started operating in 2015, but we started ideation in 2014. Yes?
What would you say are the greatest of the challenges you are facing?
Our greatest challenge, number one, is access to capital. As much as we priced our drip irrigation at 150 USD for the smallholder farmers, it still is a challenge to them.
Yeah, thinking about SMS irrigation system, I'm thinking what form of training program do you, because I'm more than thinking about a farmer who does not have any form of formal education, and can I use most of these GSM company effectively? Are you able to form some form of partnership locally, or do you train your farmers yourself to do the irrigation using the SMS?
Our farmers, number one, operate M-Pesa, which is mobile money sending. They know instruction of withdraw, deposit, pay. And so our system has 3 commands: irrigate, stop, irrigate. It's only 2 things, so they only have to remember 2. So it's as basic as it can get. Secondly, we have agronomic support. We have weekly visits to these farms to train them on how to grow greenhouses. So as our agronomists visit these farms, they train them on the system.
I want to know the cost of the pits, like the greenhouse, the water system, and the setting system.
The greenhouses cost $1,000. The automation system costs $500.
My first question, do you have plans of expanding into other markets? And secondly, if you plan to do that, how are you going to handle the issue of after-sales service?
We have plans to cross borders. And to be honest, we haven't figured out how exactly. And that's why Yali presented us an opportunity to understand each of your markets individually. We can't sit in Nairobi and try to understand how Lagos thinks. And that's what we're talking about. What we thought about Nigeria is not what's there. So for us, we feel like growing would be a franchise option where the partners in those countries own a majority of the company. They would be able best to answer how they would do after sales because it's different across borders. I will not be able to give an answer on after sales. But in terms of growth, we're looking at a franchise option. Well, if no one has a question, I would like to ask a question to you. What is the one thing that would make you not buy a greenhouse from us? What would prohibit you? If you had a farmer at home?
I look more into the after-sales service, and I would think the franchise model is very sustainable. So if I get conviction about what I will get, maintenance, training, and support for running the greenhouse and managing it, I think there's nothing else that will stop me from that.
Do we still have time? Yeah.
How your greenhouses, how long do they stay standing? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years with wind, other elements of the weather? What's your time frame?
Our greenhouses, our wooden greenhouses last up to 8 years. We guarantee our farmers 5 years. And that was based on treating it with waste oil. So recently we went to Dow Agro Sciences and they have a system that can take that time up to 15 years. So we might change that story to be 15 years now.
I think to answer your question, sometimes a greenhouse is a good idea, but I think the problem, especially for my country, Zimbabwe, is what do I grow in the greenhouse? Yes, I can grow the high value crop of tomatoes, I can do peppers, but where's the market? I don't have that guarantee. So I can buy your greenhouse for $1,500, get it installed, put the high value crops in, and not have the market, and then I'm in trouble. So I think maybe if you could sell the greenhouse with the seed in the market, like the big supermarkets, like Pay, like I don't know what you have in Nairobi, but we have Pick and Pay. So like a kind of like a talk between Pick and Pay and your greenhouses. I'm linking the farmers' greenhouses, the value chain is going to say, try to say. That will encourage me to buy your greenhouse. So I know I have a market for the crops that I grow.
Thank you. I'm going to give him a chance.
So I just want to add on to what Shamila said. For me, I think a lot of farmers don't know what to grow in the greenhouse. So it's more of what crop are they growing as a business. So if I'm going to do, say, capsicums, it's more of that being my business. And the greenhouse is just there to support it. So if you're going to explain to the farmer that, hey, you can grow tomatoes as a business for the whole year and this is how much you're going to make. But in order for you to do this, for you to make this tomato business model work, you need a greenhouse. But if you just tell me about a greenhouse, I'll be thinking all sorts of things. What am I going to grow in it? If I'm a farmer, I've only grown maize ever since, or maybe potatoes. And then I won't be able to make that connection between that corn and the greenhouse. So it's more of what am I growing in. That's, to me, is the most important thing. And can I find a market for it? I like it.
Thank you. Yes, given that.
Okay. So in addressing the question of affordability for the small and older farmers, have you explored the business of payments in bits so that you give it to them, you give them the greenhouse and then they pay you as and when they make money? Have you explored that?
We've tried, but we had a lot of default rates. I think we don't know how to rate the credit worthiness of these farmers, but we've tried. I guess time's up. Oh, can we? This one is okay.
Just want to know how easy it is to get water for irrigation.
So we on our service we provide solar powered water pumps for them to be able to use. Thank you.